For years, fans of Heartland have held on to one question, a question that has haunted their hearts ever since the devastating loss of Ty Borden. Could he possibly return? Could the man we thought was gone forever, the one who touched our lives with his kindness and strength, still be out there somewhere? Season 19 opens with a shocking twist, a moment so powerful, so unexpected, it will leave you speechless. Ty Borden is alive. He's not gone. And the moment of his return will change everything. The morning sun rises gently over the Heartland Ranch, casting soft golden rays across the land. A quiet stillness hangs in the air, the kind that only comes with the calm before a storm. Amy Fleming, now older and wiser, moves with purpose as she steps outside. The weight of years spent alone presses on her shoulders. She has learned to live without him, the man who was her heart and soul, the man she thought she had lost forever. As Amy walks toward the barn, a shadow shifts across the corral. At first, she assumes it's just another early riser, Jack or Tim, perhaps. But then, the figure steps closer, emerging from the mist. For a heartbeat, Amy freezes, her breath catching in her throat. The shape is too familiar. Her heart skips a beat. The broad shoulders, the posture, the way he holds himself with quiet strength. It's unmistakable. Her voice trembles as she whispers the name she never thought she'd say again. Ty? For a long moment, there's only silence. The man in front of her takes a hesitant step forward, unsure, almost as if he too can't quite believe what's happening. Amy, he says softly, barely a whisper. Yet it's enough to shatter the world around them. In that instant, the years of pain, the grief, and the loneliness of all this time spent apart flood back to Amy. The life she has built without him, the moments shared with Lindy, all of it comes rushing in like a tidal wave. Time seems to stop as the two of them stand there, feet apart, both caught in disbelief. Amy's legs tremble, her hands shake, and tears begin to well in her eyes. It can't be him. She had buried him. She had mourned him. She had moved on, or at least she thought she had. I buried you, she finally whispers, her voice cracking under the weight of her words. I stood by your grave. I said goodbye. How could you let me think you were dead? Ty's face tightens with regret, his own tears threatening to spill. He takes a step closer and raises his hand gently, as if trying to bridge the distance between them, trying to convey all the things he can't say in words. I didn't want it to be this way, Amy, but I never stopped thinking about you, about Lindy. Every day I fought to come back to you. Amy's grief is raw, exposed in the open air for the first time in years. She doesn't know whether to run to him or pull away, to scream or collapse. Her heart is shattered. Yet there's a small piece that still holds on to hope, that still wants to believe. Ty stands there patiently, letting her feel the weight of the years he missed. He doesn't try to explain himself right away. He knows there's no easy way to fix this, no way to undo the damage of the past. He looks at her, his own heart breaking as he watches her struggle. I wanted to come back every single day, Ty says quietly, but I was told staying away was the only way to keep you and Lindy safe. Amy steps back, her mind racing to comprehend the impossible reality in front of her. She had thought he was gone, that his death was final. But the truth is more complicated. Ty had survived. He had been kept alive, hidden away to protect his family from the dangers of the world he had been entangled in. The pain of that realization is almost more than she can bear. To know that Ty had never wanted to leave, that he had fought every day to come back, only to be forced into silence, is a bitter pill to swallow. I fought for you, Ty adds, his voice filled with a quiet intensity. I begged them to let me contact you, but they said it wasn't safe. And now, he looks down, struggling to find the words. Now I just want to be here. I want to make up for the time I lost, for the things I can't change. Amy's mind is spinning, and yet, even in a whirlwind of emotions surrounds Amy. But she knows one thing for sure. He's here. Ty is standing in front of her, alive, breathing, and it's everything she never thought would happen. The moment hangs between them, charged with the weight of everything they've been through. Slowly, Amy steps forward, her hands trembling as she reaches out to touch his face, almost as if she's testing the reality of the moment. "I've dreamed of this," she whispers, her voice thick with emotion. "But in every dream, you disappeared again." Ty takes her hand, placing it gently over his chest. "I'm not going anywhere this time." And in that moment, everything changes. The years of grief, the long nights spent alone, and the sorrow of raising Lindy without him, all of it begins to fade away. Ty is back, not just as the man she once loved, but as the man who has fought for the second chance. The journey of healing has only just begun. Amy's heart is still racing, and her mind struggles to process what is happening. The love, the confusion, the anger, the hope, all of it mixing together in a whirlwind. But before she can say another word, the reality of Ty's return begins to sink in for the rest of the Heartland family. The ripple effect of his presence reaches everyone, from Jack to Lou to Lindy, and each person must face the truth in their own way. The man they thought was gone is back, and no one knows how to truly embrace it yet. The first to learn that Ty is alive is Jack, the stoic grandfather who has been a father figure to Ty since his first days at Heartland. He is sitting at the kitchen table, sipping his coffee, unaware that his world is about to be shaken once again. Amy walks in slowly, her face unreadable, as if she's been holding a secret too big to keep. Jack looks up at her, sensing something is off. "He's back," Amy says quietly, her voice trembling. Jack's eyes narrow in disbelief. "What do you mean? Who's back?" Amy doesn't answer right away. She looks down at her hands, fighting back tears that threaten to overwhelm her again. The weight of the truth is still so heavy. She finally meets his eyes. "Ty's alive, Jack. He came back." For a long moment, Jack doesn't move. He just stares at her, trying to make sense of the words. His mind races through the years of mourning, the pain of watching Amy suffer, the finality of the funeral. It couldn't be true. Ty was dead. Jack had said goodbye to him, just like everyone else. But when Amy repeats the words, her voice thick with emotion, Jack's face softens. He's struggling to believe it, but he can see it in her eyes. The heartbreak, the hope. "Where is he?" Jack finally asks, his voice quiet, almost unsure. Before Amy can respond, Ty steps into the room. The moment he enters, everything changes. Jack stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. For a long second, the two men just stand there, eyeing each other, both too stunned to speak. It's as if the years of confusion and loss have come to a boiling point, and now, in this unexpected moment, everything is forced into the open. Jack's usually tough exterior falters, and something in his eyes shifts. The gruff, no-nonsense man is gone, replaced by the father he never got to be to Ty. The emotion is raw, unspoken, but it fills the space between them. "You little bugger," Jack mutters, his voice thick with emotion, and suddenly he pulls Ty into a hug. It's not long or dramatic, but it's real, and it says everything Jack can't put into words. "You broke all our hearts," he whispers, holding on tightly. "But damn it, it's good to have you home." The relief in Jack's embrace speaks volumes. Ty's return isn't just about him coming back from the dead. It's about reuniting a family that had been torn apart. It's about the father and son who never had the chance to build the relationship they both wanted. In that one simple hug, the walls between them fall, and all that's left is the unspoken truth. They need each other. While Jack begins to process the impossible, Lou, Amy's sister, reacts in her own way. As the protector of the family, Lou has always been the glue that held everything together. She was there during Amy's darkest moments, supporting her through the grief and the loneliness of raising Lindy without Ty. She helped Amy fight through the tough times, becoming a mother figure in her own right. But now Lou must face the woman she loves, her sister, and the news that will shatter everything she thought she knew. Amy finds Lou in the barn, standing amidst the quiet, her hands wrapped tightly around the handle of a pitchfork. Lou's expression is a mixture of confusion and concern, sensing the seriousness in Amy's demeanor. Amy doesn't waste words. "He's back. Ty's back." Lou's face goes pale. The pitchfork drops from her hands with a soft clatter, and for a moment, she's frozen in disbelief. "What do you mean he's back?" she asks, her voice tight with tension. "Amy, that's not funny." But when Ty steps into the doorway, Lou's world is thrown into chaos. She gasps, her hand flying to her mouth as tears well up in her eyes. She takes a hesitant step toward him, almost afraid to touch him, as if he might disappear the moment she gets too close. "Is this real? Are you real?" she asks, her voice trembling with a mix of joy, anger, and heartbreak. Ty doesn't immediately respond. He doesn't try to explain himself or make excuses. He knows there's no easy answer to the pain Lou has been carrying all these years. He stands there quietly, letting her feel everything. The anger at his disappearance, the grief over what she's had to watch her sister endure, and the betrayal that he never came back. Lou steps forward, tears streaming down her face, and wraps her arms around him in a tight, desperate hug. "You better never leave again," she sobs into his chest. "Next time I won't be able to fix everything you break." It's a sister's heartbreak, raw and real. Lou has spent so many years protecting Amy, holding her together, and now she faces the man who broke her sister's heart. And yet, in the same breath, she's forgiving him. Because deep down, Lou understands the depth of his pain too. Ty holds her tightly, not saying a word. He knows the damage he's caused, but he's back now, and he wants to make things right. For Amy, for Lou, for Lindy. He knows this won't be easy, but he's willing to do whatever it takes. While the rest of the family tries to process Ty's return, Lindy, the little girl who grew up with only stories of her father, must come face to face with the reality of who Ty Borden really is. She knows him from the photos and the tales her mother has told her, but to her he's always been a distant figure, a name in a story, not a man she could touch or hold. Amy takes Lindy into the house, her heart racing with the anticipation of the moment. "Lindy, there's someone very special I want you to meet," she says softly, her voice filled with emotion. Lindy tilts her head, curious but unaware of the gravity of the moment. When Ty steps forward, his eyes meeting hers, a quiet silence falls over the room. He kneels slowly, holding out his hand, his voice gentle. "Hi, Lindy. I'm your dad." For a long moment, Lindy just looks at him, processing the words she doesn't fully understand yet. She doesn't know what it all means, but there's something in her that recognizes him. Slowly, she steps forward, and without a second thought, wraps her arms around him. It's a hug born not from understanding, but from a deep instinctual need to be close to the man who's always been a part of her life, even if she never knew it. Ty holds her close, his tears falling freely. He's finally holding his daughter again, the little girl he thought he'd never get to know. The reunion is simple, but it's everything. Amy watches from the side, her heart torn wide open as she sees the two people she loves most finally come together. In this quiet, tender moment, the family begins to heal, piece by piece. And while they know the road ahead will be difficult, they also know one thing for sure. They are no longer broken. Ty Borden is home. As the initial shock of Ty's return begins to wear off, the true weight of what's happening starts to settle in. Ty might be back, but it's clear that things can never return to the way they once were. The family's reunion is filled with emotion, but beneath the surface lies a deep and complicated struggle. The years apart have taken their toll. And while the love between Amy and Ty is undeniable, the gaps between them are wider than either of them ever imagined. For Amy, the hurt runs deeper than anyone can understand. She spent years grieving Ty, trying to heal from the pain of losing him. She raised Lindy alone, built a life without him, and found a way to survive the overwhelming sorrow. But now, standing face to face with the man she once loved so deeply, it's hard for her to reconcile the past with the present. The years of heartbreak, the unanswered questions, the nights spent wondering what happened to him, all of it comes rushing back in a tidal wave of emotion. The first night Ty is back, they sit together on the porch. The sky above is filled with stars, the night calm and still. Amy, exhausted from the emotional whirlwind of the day, tries to put her feelings into words, but they seem to get lost somewhere between her heart and her tongue. Ty, too, is struggling. Though he's physically here, emotionally he's been trapped in a world of pain and survival for so long that he's not sure how to reconnect with the life he once had. He's missed so much. He's seen so little of Lindy growing up, and the thought of everything he's lost weighs heavily on his chest. Amy, Ty says quietly, breaking the silence, I never stopped thinking about you, about Lindy. I was always with you in my heart, even when I couldn't be with you in person. Amy's eyes brim with unshed tears. She wants to reach out to him, to wrap herself in the warmth of his words, but she can't quite bring herself to do it. Her heart is still broken from all the years of pain, and now there's this strange distance between them, a gulf that neither of them knows how to cross. I know, she whispers, but you weren't here. I needed you, Ty. You weren't there for Lindy. For me. I. She stops, her voice faltering as the weight of the lost years presses down on her. I don't know how to forgive you for that. The words hang in the air, and Ty feels the sting of them like a physical blow. He knows the hurt he caused cannot be undone, no matter how much he wishes it could be. He had no choice but to disappear, to protect them. And even though he knows it was the right decision, the guilt gnaws at him every single day. Amy, I didn't want this, Ty says softly, his voice full of regret. I fought for years to come back to you, but every time I got close, something pulled me further away. The people who did this to me, they wouldn't have stopped until you and Lindy were gone too. Amy's heart softens slightly at the explanation. She knows the man she loved would never willingly leave her, but understanding doesn't always mean healing. She wanted him to come back, but now that he's here, the reality is far more complicated than she ever could have imagined. I don't know how to move forward, Ty, she admits, the tears finally falling freely. I spent so long grieving for you. I built my life without you, and now, I don't know what we are anymore. Ty reaches for her hand, his own shaking with the weight of his sorrow. I don't expect things to be easy. I've missed so much, Amy, but if you'll let me, I want to be here. For you, for Lindy. I want to try again. The quiet night seems to stretch on for hours as they sit in silence, the weight of their past and future hanging heavily between them. Amy wants to believe him. She wants to believe that this is real, that they can start over, but she's scared. The pain of losing him once before is still too fresh, too raw. How can she risk it again? While Amy and Ty struggle with their unspoken pain, Lou faces her own battle. The revelation that Ty is alive has rocked her to her core. Lou has always been the protector, the one who held the family together during Amy's darkest times. But what about her own heart? What about the years she spent watching Amy suffer, pretending to be strong for everyone else? When Lou first sees Ty, the flood of emotions is overwhelming. She wants to lash out at him, to scream and ask how he could do this to her sister, to all of them. But she's also been holding on to the hope that one day, Ty would come back. She spent so many nights looking after Amy and Lindy, doing everything she could to keep the family afloat, even when she was drowning inside. And now Ty is back. But it's too much. It feels like the rug has been ripped out from under her. Lou finds herself alone in the barn one evening, staring out at the pasture. The stars above her are so clear, so bright, and yet she feels like she's in a storm, struggling to breathe. She can't make sense of any of this. I don't know if I can do this, she admits, her voice shaking as she speaks to herself. How do I forgive him? How do I let go of everything he's made Amy and Lindy go through? She hears footsteps behind her and turns, surprised to see Jack standing there. He's been the rock of the family, always so steady and unshakable. But tonight, even Jack seems a little shaken. His eyes are softer, more understanding than usual. It's not about forgiving him, Lou, Jack says quietly, his voice full of wisdom. It's about learning to live with what's happened and what's coming. We can't change the past, but we can start to build a new future. It's going to be hard. Hell, it might be impossible. But we've always been a family, and that's the one thing that can't be broken. Lou nods slowly, taking in his words. It doesn't make the hurt go away, but she knows Jack is right. The family is broken in many ways, but they are still a family, and that means they have a chance. The emotional tug of war between Ty and Amy and the struggle for the rest of the family to accept the reality of his return is far from over. But in the quiet moments, there's a glimmer of hope. If they can face the truth of what they've been through, maybe they can find a way to heal together. For now, all they can do is take it one day at a time, rebuilding the bonds that were broken, learning to trust each other again. Because in the end, it's not about what's been lost, but what they still have, each other. The tension continues to pulse through Heartland Ranch, a house brimming with unspoken words and fractured pieces of the past. The return of Ty Borden has not only shaken Amy to her core, but has sent ripples through the entire family. But one thing is clear: the heartbeat of Heartland, its foundation, is its family. The dynamics are complex, layered with love, betrayal, loss, and hope. And it's in the unbreakable bonds of that family that Ty's return slowly begins to take shape, revealing a deeper story than just his survival. Ty's reappearance has sparked so many emotions in everyone around him, and yet the deeper issue remains. Can they truly forgive the years of pain and absence he caused, even if it wasn't his choice? For Amy, the pain of Ty's disappearance was profound. But as time has passed, the space he left behind in her heart has transformed. What was once a gaping wound has begun to form into something softer, a scar with a story. It isn't just about loss anymore. Now there's room for healing, and she knows that no matter how difficult, she needs to try. However, for Amy, healing doesn't mean rushing back into a relationship with Ty. As the weight of what he's missed starts to settle between them, she realizes that there's a lot of work ahead. Work that isn't just about understanding the reasons behind his disappearance, but also about rediscovering who they are to each other. It's in these quiet, intimate moments between Ty and Amy that the depth of their unresolved grief surfaces. Ty tries to hold her hand, offering what little comfort he can, but Amy pulls away, her face torn with conflicting emotions. There's love in her eyes, but also a sadness that goes beyond the simple act of him returning. She doesn't know if she's ready to forgive him, to let him back into her life in the way he wants to be. It's too soon, and yet, at the same time, she can't imagine a life without him. The complexity of these emotions, the hope, the anger, the confusion, brings an undeniable weight to their every interaction. But what's so powerful in these moments is that despite